Welcome to Let's Talk About Weddings, a podcast designed for couples that are planning a wedding and preparing for marriage. We're your hosts. I'm Jared.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are 6 Day Films. We're honored to sit down each episode with a wedding professional, vendor, or a marriage expert to ask them a simple question. What advice would you give to every couple that's planning a wedding and preparing for marriage?
Some weeks will be super practical. Some weeks will be a little more philosophical. But every week will be incredibly fun as we spend time with our friends, hearing their stories and learning from their wisdom.
All right, here we go.
Let's talk about weddings.
Well, hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About Weddings Season 2. Today we have with us Brooks Daigle of the Sixpence and Westwood Vowery and Estate. Brooks, thank you so much for coming on and being kind of a guinea pig. This is our first video podcast with a guest, so thanks for coming on.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we like to, a question I've been asking everyone basically since Sunday is I'd like to know how you celebrated LSU winning the national championship in college baseball on Sunday. Because I know,
Privately,
yeah. How did that go for you?
So my dad is a huge LSU fan. He went to
really?
LSU med school.
I was completely joking. I didn't know that because you're from Florida.
Yes,
yeah. So I was totally joking.
Yeah, no, my family's actually from New Orleans.
Oh.
So my dad went to LSU. So yeah, my family was psyched.
That's incredible. yeah. Once you're from, everyone in Louisiana loves LSU. It doesn't matter what part of the state you're from. Well, that was completely a joke. I had no idea. I also didn't know that you lived in Florida. I knew you for 3 years before I knew that you lived in Florida.
Yes.
So
yeah.
But so tell us a little bit about you. How'd you, you lived in Florida, but how did you kind of get connected into the wedding world, and tell us about what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got initially involved with the Sixpence through my relationship with Shelby Henry, now Dempsey. She and I went to the same college in Florida. And we actually kind of had a mutual friend group, interconnections, knew who each other were. At the time, I was working in high-end resort wear retail, doing marketing and events. Okay. And Shelby, I knew that she was doing photo and video for weddings. And she was also starting to dabble in some branding work. So we actually got connected first really in the creative work realm. I got to work with her from the company I was working for at the time through kind of an influencer relationship. And then soon we just realized we worked really well with her behind the camera and me supporting through concepting, model selection, scouting locations. We just have a really great working relationship in that way. And so when she shared with me the dream for building the Sixpence, at the time, so preliminary, just the journey of identifying that she wanted to create a purpose-built venue space for couples in Indiana, after recognizing and doing loads and loads of research to recognize that there seemed to be a hole in the market as far as a space that showcased both beautiful aesthetics as well as the logistic essentials to support professionals and clients on their wedding day. So she was very early on in the building process of announcing the Sixpence brand, and I was able to work with her on some of that starting point brand voice type stuff, right. Boilerplate language that we'd use to talk about what the goals of the Sixpence were, the language that we'd use around the facility and packages. And then I actually came up, my first time ever in Indiana was coming up for the Sixpence's first open house in the fall of 2021.
Yeah, and that's when we met you.
Oh, the fall of 2020, actually. Yeah. I believe.
Yeah, because I brought Brooks and he was little.
Yeah, he was little bitty, which is funny because our son's named Brooks. And so since we've known Brooks basically since he was born, he refers to her as the girl Brooks.
There's only one.
There's only one apparently in the whole world. So, but I'm like, yeah, I was just talking to Brooks. He's like, oh, the girl Brooks. I'm like, yep, that's the one. That's the one. So 2020 or 2021?
That would have been 2020 because the Sixpence opened our doors in June of 2021. So we were hosting our open houses prior to the facility being done.
Oh yeah, so he would have been like 3 or 4 months old at max. Yeah, he was little. You only stayed for a little bit because he was so little.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's where we kind of got connected. The Sixpence wasn't even white the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
It was it hadn't been painted yet.
The ground wasn't even broken, I think, the first time I saw it. It was just a field.
Yeah, just a field. That's incredible.
But yeah, I got to come up for our first open house. It was, it was fun. At the time, I was doing a lot of, we're sitting in Shelby's Florida office thinking through, okay, what are the steps to host a successful event, to introduce ourselves to the community? What are the important next steps? Oh, we need to be able to make knowledgeable recommendations to clients who are booking with us. We need to connect with the wedding and event professionals in our area and be well versed in who's great at their craft, who we feel has like an aesthetic and approach that aligns with our view of an elevated level of service for couples. So doing a lot of homework there, plugging and playing with our first couple of open houses, getting the opportunity to work with professionals, see each other in action during event. And then it was the morning after the first open house we did up here. Shelby invited me to join the team full time.
Nice.
Which was amazing. And it's been a very unique situation, of course, because I still live full time in Florida, but I'm up in Indiana about once a week, once a month, give or take.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a longer trip. Sometimes I skip a month, but
racking up those frequent flyer miles.
Absolutely. Getting down, I've got a direct from Fort Lauderdale Airport up to Indy.
What airline do you have to fly for that?
Allegiant.
It's not the worst.
Yeah, I mean,
we have a friend that's a pilot for Allegiant, so we have to be.
If you ever have a Blake Davis, tell him that you know us.
Yeah, he's got a sweet
He does
mustache.
fly there a lot.
I think he probably has been your pilot quite a bit.
I'll have to ask now.
Yeah,
it's fine. I mean, it's like to me, it's a commute. It's like a little bus ride.
Yeah, and it's so quick, and you're probably not traveling with a ton of stuff. I think the last time we flew Frontier, it felt like a literal punishment. It was like, why did we do this to ourselves?
Oh yeah.
But Allegiant's great. So no, that's cool. So for those of you that may be listening that don't know, the Sixpence is this venue that kind of came on the scene and really elevated, I feel like, a lot of the market for Indianapolis, being purposeful, being beautiful aesthetically, but also having this idea of being very serviceable. Shelby was a photographer, so a lot of the design went into it is all about light and making sure that the light is good, and the different spaces are all very intentional. And so there's just so much intentionality, which I love about being there. I love we've only done like 1 or 2 weddings in what's the name of the wooded space?
The Grotto wooded ceremony space.
Yes, it's beautiful. And we did a little brand video there for it. It was like, man, we could be out here. That's like, I love that style. Just so beautiful. But the patio is beautiful. And then, and now you guys have something new that you're cooking up and working on.
Yes, we are very excited for the Sixpence's upcoming sister venue, Westwood Vowery and Estate. We'll be opening our doors in Westfield, Indiana. So skip little neighborhood away from the Sixpence. We'll be opening our doors in April of 2026.
Yeah. How's it going?
It is going swimmingly. So we went the same route with with Westwood as we did the Sixpence, in that the full space is purpose designed to serve events, to serve weddings and events. So that, again, ties into the aesthetics. We want the entire space to be very beautiful, and we also need for it to be functional for both our clients as well as the professionals serving them. So we're able to learn a lot from the Sixpence experience of building, and just, a little bit more room here, and, access between these 2 points, and storage has been okay, right. All these tables and chairs, when we want them out of the room, where are they going to go?
Right.
So, being able to have a lot of those variables in mind from the jump is amazing. That being said, it's a much different aesthetic than the Sixpence, which we've heard it called a modern farmhouse. It's like a play, I think, on the farmhouse look with a gambrel roof, but ultimately the chandeliers, the full white,
Yeah.
we're quite elevated, but we
Elegant.
yes,
Yeah.
quite an elegant take on like a farmhouse feel.
Yeah.
And so we love that space. Obviously, you know, thrilled to serve the many clients that we see through the Sixpence space. Also 17 acres, so lots of property to explore, enjoy, lots of lush outdoor space and tons of options. So we know
Flower
that we
farm,
wanted,
which is always beautiful.
our on-site gardens are gorgeous. Our overnight accommodations are amazing. Really just giving clients at the Sixpence an opportunity to like escape and kind of enjoy this serene like wonderland of their own. But with Westwood, we're really excited to be nestled in more of a hub area with Westfield growing so rapidly. So with that, you know, we have a couple of different like features of that we didn't kind of come across for the Sixpence. Our neighborhood is much more bustling, and then the style of the facility will be a little bit more of like a dark, swanky feel. We'll still do tons of natural light. Obviously, that's important to us. We have our Vowery is our conservatory style glass ceremony room, which is going to be stunning. We'll do private suites for getting ready in that space, just like we have at the Sixpence, which is very important to us. Just thinking through the client experience, the real experience that they have for 14 hours of wedding day.
Right.
You know, those little details make a big difference. Having a dry bar available, you know, when the bride is dressed up in her gown, does she have a private bathroom that she can use, or is she having to sneak down through the crowd? So those little like points of thoughtfulness will build into Westwood, just like we did the Sixpence, but the facility itself will be much bigger. And yeah, it'll be, I mean, we know that we're going to learn a lot through the building process, but right now it's been going amazingly. We know not just as far as the facility goes, but the packages that we have offered at the Sixpence, the thoughtfulness that we have had as far as like composing their package options from bar to preferred vendor selection. We just have gotten such a wonderful response and really feel that it has served our clients well, ultimately served all the professionals involved well. So we will definitely be copying that format, or, you know, are in the process of nurturing this little bit of a new network that we have over at Westwood to serve our many booked clients there now. We have over 50 bookings, which is very exciting.
Incredible.
Yes.
And probably a little bit like, oh, okay, this is a good move, right? Like a little bit of affirmation of this was good and this was needed.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I don't even think that we were hugely surprised, because we did our homework to kind of know that part. But the response from professionals has been really wonderful. Like being able to showcase we had our Westwood announcement event hosted at the Sixpence in October, and just the opportunity to tell everyone.
The recap video for that was excellent, by the way.
What's that?
So the recap video for that was excellent.
Oh yeah, best. But that event, having the opportunity to tell everybody what we were doing and show them the planned building, and the responses that we got from seasoned veterans in the wedding and event community, that's really great to hear.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, we're looking forward to see it. Thankfully, we get to be a part of the journey a little bit of just doing like a monthly recap and something else we have cooking up for 2026. But yeah, it's crazy to go out there. You know, when I first saw it, it was just like dirt that wasn't even level, and then now steel's up, and yeah, it's been really, really cool to see. I'm excited to see it all come together. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see. I often talk about Shelby's strength in vision casting for couples. She really, I mean, she did our first tours at the Sixpence, of course, when we were a very, very slim team. Right. She was out there with couples walking a construction site or an empty field and saying, you know, there's going to be a huge doorway here, and then you'll have these beautiful sparkling chandeliers, and the west is that way, so your sunset is going to come. And just being able to paint a picture, both acknowledging the important essentials as well as the just like human interest aesthetic touches that couples care about. And Tony, our sales director of both the Sixpence and Westwood, I mean, honestly, our bookings there just speaks to his skill in that realm as well. Yeah. Because, I mean, it's very exciting out there, but definitely is a construction site. So it takes a little bit of a moment to say, okay, walk with me here.
Right.
This is going to be the experience on your day. But yeah, we're so confident in our crew that we've got behind the actual building of the site. Our like architect team is amazing.
Yeah.
And then, Tony's a great sales leader, and then the follow through we are well aware is the most important thing. And we're very confident in our ability to execute when it comes down to it on wedding day, have a team and a set of like agreed upon standards and, the way that we do things has worked out well. And so it's fun to feel confident that it'll be smooth rolling as things in the wedding world go. Once
you have
open up.
4 to 5 years of like, we've done this well, we've learned some lessons, and now we can apply all of that straight into this new thing that you're getting ready to do. So you're not recreating the wheel, really. You're just improving it, which is cool. So when did talks for Westwood begin?
That's a good question. And honestly, probably a question that Shelby would be better at answering than I am. But they've been going on for a long time. Yeah. Quite a long time. I think it would be fair to say that once we were really starting to see great traction at the Sixpence and feeling like we were kind of onto something as far as the way that we were approaching service and just the response that we were getting from clients, and knowing that people are going to continue to get married. Right. This is gonna and frankly, if we feel that what they have their options right now might feel a little not as thoughtful as they could be, or a little outdated or something, that is only going to become more true as time goes on. So being able to see the success at the Sixpence, and then your brain starts going of like, how can this be scaled well, that can serve our existing brand, serve our target demographic well, and make sense for business. So I think that the conversations between about what comes after the Sixpence have been going on with the ownership team for quite a while now, but I wouldn't be so bold to put a date on it.
I need a date. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So I was trying to describe Westwood a little bit. I know I've seen some plans. I've been around the construction site, and I was trying to describe it to Sarah a little bit earlier. But what are some of the influences you guys kind of pulled from, as far as like, overarching ideas of, the conservatory to the Bowery to all the different things? Like what kind of things were you guys like dreaming of and looking at when you kind of came up with the plans?
Sure. So all over, we were pulling inspiration from anywhere and everywhere, which we do for a lot of things at the Sixpence as well, even though it might end up, coming curved back to sit in the Sixpence brand. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I feel being able to live, for me personally, in my work with both companies, being able to live and work in South Florida truly allows access to such a cool amount of inspiration that I'm just like naturally encountering. That being said, it's 2025. Obviously, you can get online and see anything that you want to see, but
you're actually living it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's definitely cool, and a big something that we really wanted to make known for the Sixpence brand, and now for Westwood's brand, is our clients here do not need to wait 5 years for this hot trend to make its way from the coast to hit the Midwest. Whether it's a trend or just a new offering or a new creative service, we're really enthusiastic about saying, if there is something that you're loving and that you're seeing, we want to, as a venue, support you in that, but also be able to connect you with the professionals that we know are in this area that can help. Yeah, just to mention there that I think I speak for Shelby, and I think a lot of the rest of the ownership team, that we're always very enthusiastic about opportunities to grab inspiration from like across the states, from across the world in our travels, whether it's something from like something architecturally or something in hospitality. You go to a really cool bar in France and they did this XYZ little thing. Like, what an interesting approach to service. So just being really open-minded in while we're out and about and experiencing the world. I know that there is a bar restaurant in West Palm that Shelby's family went to and loved a design piece at the bar. And that was a strong inspiration from some of the pieces that we'll see at Westwood. The aesthetic, I'd say, of the facility as a whole is we've got some European influences, but there's a crispness to them. So I'd say that there's like, you could say some modern meld with European. There are some touches that I would say come from the realm of like mid-century. So we've got some cool segmented arches going on in the architecture. We've got some really beautiful box windows upstairs in one of our suites. We have our terrace suite has a terrace balcony off the front of the building, which we know is going to be beautiful and allow this indoor-outdoor feel. Our glass room, I mean, we just love the idea of a space that you can host your ceremony where you can see, be bathed in sunlight, but you're not worrying about bugs or rain or any of the many variables of hosting outside. So we're really excited about just, honestly, the logistics and aesthetics of that space. And then we will, of course, be able to support outdoor ceremonies. We have a beautiful like sunset courtyard that we have planned with some arches and hanging gardens. So I'd say we're pulling European, we're pulling modern, we're playing with shapes and more of like more statement moments, like swanky moments like you'd see at a really beautiful hotel versus the Sixpence. That being said, we of course are very aware that like we want to we have often described the Sixpence as a beautiful blank canvas, and we'll want to have something in the same realm at Westwood. We want the facility to stand alone and be beautiful, but also be ready to be personalized and designed in such a way that like clients can come in and make their day their own through decor.
Yeah, that's excellent. The reason I was asking about the date for when you guys started talking about it, because I remember joking with either you or Shelby of like, so when you guys are going to build another one of these, and they're basically like, we either looked at land like recently, because I knew something was happening at Unveiled that was like, this is not just a dream anymore. It's something that we're actually like taking steps towards. So I don't remember that timeline exactly.
It's very possible that we were, I mean, the first step is all the homework, of course,
right?
But then it's finding land that we feel can support the vision of what we're building. We wanted, trees. We wanted a certain distance from the airport and downtown. We wanted to be. We weren't really super concerned with proximity to the Sixpence, just because we really feel so confident they're offering different styles, and there's plenty of room for couples at both. But yeah, I believe you that you were probably messing around at Unveiled. We're like, no, seriously, it's happening.
It's happening. So no. But what I love about being out there is I was just out there for sunset last week, and that was my first time. And it's like seeing that kind of come across the entire back, and how like the courtyard is going to be, just incredibly beautiful. But then the sun makes its way over to where those big, huge windows are going to be in that space. I'm like, man, just the entire day is going to be so beautiful. And you're going to have beautiful sunsets out there. And there's a big waterfront pond.
Yes, we'll have fountains.
Fountains. Yeah, there's just so many like, and I don't even have as clear a picture in my head as you guys have, but being able to see how, as a couple, you get to basically have, every part of your day in a different part of the venue, which is really cool. There's no flipping of the rooms. There's no I guess you can do that if you want to, but I'm assuming that most people won't want to have that kind of spaced out, like your cocktail hours in a location. And it just kind of gives you, it's an experience. It's like you're taking your guests through something that isn't just it's not just a wedding venue, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, you're taking on a journey almost as they're going through the day with you, from ceremony to cocktail to reception to, send off. And it's like, even the way you guys have the building position on the land. It's like, it's not perpendicular. It's to go with the way the trees are and the sunset. And it's like just so much intentionality, which I think couples are going to love and really appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely our goal is always to, have a solid answer to the questions that they do have, but then to have thought about 6 things that literally didn't even cross their mind.
Right.
And they shouldn't have to have every piece of information that a wedding professional has in mind for their wedding day. I say this a lot, that you should not have to be a wedding professional to host a beautiful wedding day. That being said, what other time in your life are you going to be hosting a wedding or a party for 100+ guests and worrying about everything from a large investment on the dress that you're wearing to your hair and makeup to food for all of these guests? There's a lot of logistic factors, and then there's this huge, emotional factor.
Right.
But just the logistic factors alone, like I wish I could just communicate that to all couples. Like there is no reason that you should be needing to be an expert in every realm of the logistic part of your wedding day. It's important that you know what you want, and know what's important to you, and that you are willing to have a conversation and sometimes be educated a little bit by the professional whose job it is to know all of these things. But yeah, that's a lot of our approach, is say, hey, don't even we'll show you why we did this, but now you can just come and enjoy it.
Right.
You don't have to oh, and if you want us to, pivot the building for you for a better sunset, you can. It's like, we already did it.
Yeah.
And generator power, you don't have to worry about those things that you shouldn't have to worry about when it comes to, we believe the venue doing its job as a venue. But then also the above and beyond we want to offer to clients, because it's just, they should be able to be enjoying this celebration in their life that brings together friends and family and loved ones that very likely won't be in that same place again. So the more, brain space we can loosen up for them by excellently covering the logistics and then equipping them with wonderful professionals who can also help see through their vision in a way that is sound for all of the professionals involved, then that's how we get the job done well. Of course, everybody wants to pull off a beautiful wedding day, but ultimately you want that couple to feel happy and they got to enjoy the wedding part of it. Not oh my gosh, I was so much stress and I pulled it off.
Yeah.
It's you want the planner to feel that way.
Yeah.
I got it. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a little bit of how our conversation is with couples as well. When we're talking about them, especially with our wedding film of we don't, if you have input, we want to know it, because I tell every couple, I will not be watching this in 15 years. You will be. So if you have things that you want to share, feel free to share that. But it's also not your job to pick out the music. It's not your job to, figure out how it's going to feel and all this kind of stuff.
And some people do.
Yeah. Some people come in
and
they have a clear vision, and that's great. And I'm sure there's people that come in and have a clear vision for their day and they want to be as involved as possible. But some of that stuff too, I'm that's why you hire your people that have the taste that you have already, the things that you're seeing, on social media or their portfolios or whatever.
And I think that's so helpful, because I felt like we kind of experienced this with our wedding of asking, we knew who we wanted to do our wedding film. So then that kind of spurred into well, who do you recommend? I do feel that helps of the couple that comes in and has no idea really what they want. And it's well, let us help you. And I feel that's honestly not that common. So it's it's super helpful to have people that have done this and have been in this that, are these are 5 people that we recommend, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, especially because you're thinking about these couples having these conversations with professionals, and they're just, unless they work in party planning, they're not having these conversations frequently. So even their ability to recognize when somebody is being unprofessional or somebody is not doing their job, or somebody is trying to guilt them into thinking they absolutely have to spend on XYZ. So it's a tough I feel for couples a lot of times, because it's this tough balance of, you want to come in and say, hey, honestly, I don't know what I'm doing, but you don't want to feel taken advantage of.
Right.
Sure.
So
yeah. So with that said, thanks for sharing all that. But one of the things we like to do with this podcast is give, people like you who have tons of experience and you've been a part of and helped create, multiple venues now, and which will host, how many weddings has the Sixpence done probably now?
Oh, how many
Thousands?
total? We average about 125 to 150 a year.
Okay,
A lot
yeah,
of weddings.
that's a lot of weddings. That's a
Yeah.
lot of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Yes.
Mondays.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another thing I love about you guys too. That you only do one wedding a day.
Yes.
Is that going to be true for Westwood as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's some places you go, there's multiple things going on, and that's completely fine. I'm sure there's benefits to that, but that is nice that you kind of have this.
The space is yours.
The space is yours. Yeah, you can do with it what you want to do, and you're not competing for spots. And as a videographer, of like knowing that there's not gonna, when you're downtown Indy, we go to the War Memorial, there might be 3 other wedding parties there that you're having to compete around and work around, and it always works out. There's no big deal with that. But when we're going to be at Westwood, hopefully lots. But when we've been at Sixpence, we can kind of take the couple wherever we need to go, and being there a lot. We know when the light looks good in different places, and
Yep.
those kinds of things. And so, but with all that said, we like to give people like you with as much expertise as you have the platform to kind of share. What are some tips that you would have for couples that are, in that engaged season, they're looking for a venue, that kind of thing? What are some of the things that you would have them just kind of think through as they're having those conversations? Obviously, book at the Sixpence or Westwood. But beyond that, like, what are some of the things that, maybe they're not thinking through as they're kind of looking to make that first big step, which is your venue and your date?
Thank you so much for listening to the Let's Talk About Weddings podcast. It truly means the world to us, and we hope you find it helpful as you plan your wedding and prepare for marriage. Even with all the great advice you're getting from different wedding pros, we know that every couple still has the same problem, no matter who they are, what their wedding day looks like, or how much time you spend planning. It's the blur. Blur is the enemy. You spend all this time, energy, and money creating a beautiful day, and it literally flies by. That's where we come in. At 6 Day Films, we create timeless cinematic highlight films that tell your story and slow down the blur. If you'd like to chat about us joining your wedding day, please visit our website, 6dayfilms.com. That's the number 6, THDAYFILMS.com. To find out more information, check out a few of our films and fill out the contact form. Now, let's get back to our conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I understand that it can be intimidating to know that you can't start soft with like your florist,
Right.
you are going to be picking, in most cases, there are planner first clients. But in most cases we see a visit to venue and a decision on venue, therefore a decision on date happening first. And it can be intimidating because in most cases that is the largest investment that you're making. It also just sets the tone for so much more of your day. So I would recommend hosting at the Sixpence or Westwood or otherwise. There are a couple different things that I would recommend that couples keep in mind. One big category is just the specifics of what the venue space is offering. So for us, that looks like 14 hours of exclusive rental space and private suites for getting ready. And, we have a handful of included furniture. So we walk our clients through what that looks like. Your staffing, so bar and venue managers for the day, that's included in our package. And it is important to us that we're able to list all these items that we're going to offer to our clients alongside their investment price. But not every venue space is the same. So
Right.
making sure that, I just highly recommend that clients are walking in on their tour and they're asking the specifics of what is included in the price that they're paying.
Yeah.
Because venues can be set up in all kinds of different ways. There are venues that it's a beautiful facility, but your rental means somebody's going to go in and unlock the door and turn on the lights for you.
Right.
So if anything out of the norm happens during your rental, you might not have a professional whose responsibility it is to flip the breakers or
Right.
take care of that toilet that's clogged or fix, like, help with the DJ whose table broke, like those
Right.
elements. You want to have I would think that you'd want to just know what you're walking into.
Right.
We want to know what you can expect the venue to be providing to you on your rental day. And then kind of an extension of that is what resources are they prepared to provide to you. For us, again, it's super important because where my expertise ends, where our expertise ends, somebody else's picks up. And we'd like to know who that person is ideally. You know, we're always enthusiastic about expanding our network of professionals, but we work really hard to maintain a great list of preferred vendors that we feel really confident passing along to our clients. So we know that their day is going to go as smooth as possible because we're familiar with each other. We already have this aligned vision of excellent service. And that, of course, does extend beyond our preferred list. You know, we're always coming across new great professionals that we sometimes are introduced to by our clients.
Right.
But again, if they have no idea where to start, we'd much rather them start with our preferred vendor list than Google.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a worthwhile thing for couples to think about as they're considering where they're booking is how much support am I going to be getting from this venue as far as, you know, this venue can kind of set the initial tone for my day. What other professionals am I going to have come in, and how can I build a great group of professionals to work together? So those things, like the actual gets, and I think are so important for couples to think about. And I mentioned this before, but like truly, like our spaces champion like this aesthetics and logistics marriage. So as much as you can, noting when you're doing a venue tour, the what if items that come up that your vendors might care about. We're very, very excited at Westwood to have a full vendor court, back of house, vendor green room, vendor bathroom, vendor parking, like a
That's
back
huge.
hall.
Hallelujah.
And we, you know, it's not necessarily something that is going to mean so much to couples when they're doing their tour.
Right.
But it is where that, like, you know, that rapport building kind of comes in, that we want to be able to say, hey, like, we get to say that we know that professionals are going, the professionals for your day are going to have a bit of a smoother ride on the back end. Like, they don't have to go and put their bags back in their car. They can utilize our vendor green room for storage, you know. So that, I mean, and it is, you know, along the same lines of other things. It is kind of like in that category of what do you get with your spend. But just thinking, what do you get? And then what do the other professionals get that you need, you know, the other professionals that you need to host a beautiful day, what did they get? or your family, or, you know.
Well, it's a interesting thought that you guys are thinking through that, because not that it's about the vendors in any way, but when you do have a smooth, like when those things are just kind of thought through for you, like, hey, we've got this space this is where you're going to, like, vendors are human beings too. Like, we're thinking, like, so when we don't have to think about that stuff. Do you think they work better? Is your wedding going to be shot better by a photographer who was able to slip away for 15 minutes and eat a little something and have access to water and know where the bathroom is and have a, you know, we strive to be a venue whose team is available to our professionals. So like, oh, when I'm here, I know that I can come to you guys with needs. And don't you think the artwork that you're paying for, the storytelling via movie, is going to be better executed by, you're exactly right, a human being who has been fed and respected on like a baseline level.
Like a very, very baseline level. But it is like fast, because there are venues, and we will not name names, that it's like when clients are like, it's here, there is a kind of gut, like, I really want to do that, you know, because we had X, Y, and Z experience. And so, it's so true that there's, we're human beings too. You know, we like to eat dinner at a decent time too, you know, like as silly as that is, it is true. So,
honestly, because I feel like I'm saying so many things that couples should look out for on their venue tour, and it can feel a little bit like an endless list. I will just repeat what I said before, that you should not have to be a wedding professional to host a beautiful wedding day. and you are allowed to go with your gut.
Yeah.
In fact, it
should.
might actually be better for you to go with your gut than to do a crash course via Google on wedding photography and then be trying to talk to a professional about what you read. You know, so, and then also you do not have to worry about the 600 different elements that are traditionally included in wedding day.
Yeah.
If you don't care anything about like a garter toss, then don't worry. Don't spend your wheels in that direction of trying to do something or do an alternative instead of that. If it's not sticking in your brain as an important moment to you,
Right.
you can skip it. I think that it can be overwhelming to see all of the like possibilities, whether tradition or trend. And so I think couples should keep in mind, like, it's truly like you could have a pizza party and that could be your wedding day. Like you're allowed to make it whatever you want.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm ever like, you know, I completely agree with that. Like, do whatever you want to do. The only thing I ever like encourage couples to do, like, you need to do family portraits. Like, that's the thing where I'm like, in 10 years, you'll be glad that you did that. Like, I know it's a pain. I know it's whatever. It's not, there's nothing like fun about it necessarily, but like, you got to do that. Cause like, you know, just sitting on this side of being a little bit older, being, you know, those kinds of things. But as far as like things like garter toss or, you know, even other traditions of like, we've seen people not do a mother-son dance, but he sang a song to her. Like, make it your own. Like, figure out ways to do things that are fun for you. And
I love that note about the photos.
Yeah.
And also like work with professionals that you trust so much that when they give a piece of advice like that, it's like, oh, you know what? I love that. Okay, you've seen this, you've worked in this world. You can't just start off the bat and be like, I'm 12 years in the industry and you should listen to everything should I have 100%. To say without any, you know, you want to create that type of relationship so that, the other side of that coin of like, you can do whatever you want. But also, if you want it to be done well, you probably do want to talk to a professional because whatever you're envisioning, and I say that, it's like, we won't tell you no unless we've got a good reason to.
Yeah.
And then when we have a good reason to, it's just like, I know that this restaurant is meaningful to you and you want them to cater your wedding reception. But let's just talk about the fact that this restaurant doesn't do wedding catering. So you are like, what about, what about a mock-up of something from their menu that your caterer can do? Or what about one element of that, like one meal for you and your man? Or what about rehearsal dinner, engagement party there. Like, there are lots of nice alternatives that we don't like to say no without a good reason. And then it's always nice to say like, no, but like, no, but I love where your head's at. Creative thinking. You can incorporate those meaningful things into your day, but you want to have, and you don't want a professional that is saying yes to literally everything.
Right.
You'll end up with a chaotic day.
Yeah. And then, that's the same thing for us. Is like when it comes to like wedding video stuff, is like, you shouldn't know exactly what you want with, and and it's okay if you do it, or if you have an eye for it or whatever, like that's completely great. And if your mind works that way, awesome. But like, that's what you pay us to do, or whoever it is, or your photographer or florals or whatever. Like, here's kind of what I'm thinking. Here's how I want to feel. Make that happen. I think that should be enough direction for most people.
Yes.
To be successful and to create something that you're going to love on your wedding day and beyond. So
yeah, absolutely. You want them to say, a couple adjectives that they want associated with their wedding day. Yeah. Not, walking up to a venue and being like, okay, well, first of all, we think we'll need to get in at 9 a.m. They shouldn't have to start at square one. They should be able to come in as a client and say what they want. That's,
and feel taken care of and feel like that's part of what you're paying for, is to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about working at places like the Sixpence and Westwood in the future. It's just like having, because you guys do work with the preferred list, and thankfully we're on that, or at least we used to, hopefully still are. But when we work there, we know we're going to work with people that you guys have vetted, that you've worked with, that we can trust, that we can, because on that day, everyone is on the same team. You're on team bride and groom, or whatever the couple is. You're on that team to serve them. And if any one person forgets that, then it makes the day not very much fun for everybody else. So having a venue that has that vision of, we're going to take care of vendors because we know that they perform better when they feel like human beings. We, like the photographer and videographer have worked together before, so they know how to do that dance and all those things. And like, that's what I love. One of the many things I love about working at the Sixpence is we know no matter where we go, we're going to be working with people that we've either worked with before, or we can have full confidence and they're going to do a great job that day.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you get that effect with us. That is absolutely our goal, is that, you know, oneness that we feel as a team behind the scenes, ensuring that everything goes or feels to the guests as seamless and perfect as possible. I'm also really big on, like, we aren't trying to teach clients a lesson at any point in time. They are likely not going to be a return client when you're working in the wedding industry.
Hopefully not, yeah.
So the best thing you can do is curve your own, like, okay, how did we get to where we got? What did we put in front of them that led them astray? Or, I mean, that's all we can do is look at ourselves and other professionals involved. And I think that to be a really wonderful wedding vendor, you have to have a little bit of thick skin in that regard, because you're a human and they're a human, but like, they are the client, and they really, like, there's no lesson to be taught, to be learned here. Your goal is to make their day as like smooth and beautiful and exactly what they wanted to the best of your ability. But absolutely being consistent where we show up for our partners and clients, and then doing our very best to invite in and support relationships with other professionals we feel have that same view, I think is kind of a gift that keeps on giving, because that is something that you can build off of. Those are your return clients. Are those like relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a big advocate of looking at the way that the professional or brand chooses to present themselves. So looking at the language that they use, what are they promising? And that way, if nothing else, you know, if they fall short, you can hold them to that. You can say, before I go into this conversation, I know that they have billed themselves as a luxury XYZ, so I'm going to have those expectations. So looking on their website and seeing the language that they use to talk about themselves, seeing their work, and if it resonates with you, if it's something that you like, you love that, or it's totally, I mean, there's so many different styles out there. So looking at their work, and then look at their reviews, see what the people have to say. Google reviews. As somebody, I mean, like, we are very active on our social platforms. So sometimes they say, oh, I want to look at this brand. I'm looking at their Instagram page and I'm looking at their tagged. I want to see the work that other people are posting or the photos that other people are posting of their work, or the comments that I'm seeing in there. So I would say that, there's not a one size fits all as far as like picking vendors, because there should be tons and tons of options, but how they speak about themselves, how other people speak about them, how they choose to present themselves, you know, and choose to present and showcase their work. And then, of course, like, do you like it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you like them? It's a wedding day. So like,
yes, 100%.
Especially for photo, video, and I tend to think planner, like, you want to have some level of like kinship or admiration or and trust for those professionals who are very, very with you alongside the actual wedding day. Even if their work is amazing, if you just feel off about them, not saying don't book them, but just like consider that, like trust yourself. As, you know, it doesn't matter if they're the most well-spoken, you know, well-talked about professional in their field. If you don't feel that connectivity to them, or you don't like them that much, it's your wedding day. So definitely trust yourself.
The personality thing I think is huge, because I like it's probably semantics a little bit to some point, but I see a lot of people talk about like couples as their family, and I'm like, they're not your family. You're not their family. Like, you're there to do a service for them. But I do want to be friends after this. I think that'd be really cool. And so like, that's kind of my mentality of like, I want you to walk away feeling like they were our best friends on our wedding day. Like, they just took care of us really well. You're paying us to be there, so let's not pretend like we're family unless we actually are. But that friendship there of like them walking away feeling like that was the best money we could have spent. They were so helpful. They, you know, kind of the same idea of service of like, you thought about things ahead of time before you were answering questions that I wasn't asking. I think that's critical and huge. Yeah. So one question I do have for you is, what is one thing that you think couples should be asking venues like a question that they should be asking that maybe they haven't thought of? So you kind of mentioned earlier, know what you're getting, know what you're paying for, know what's included, know what your options are for packages, know what also like the resources that they're providing. But what's another question that maybe sometimes couples don't think about asking, but you feel like is vitally important to making the wedding day a success?
As far as a question or something that couples can think about asking or discussing with their venue when touring is like, what are my touch points going to be with you? Where am I getting my next? When do I see you again in person? Who do I see in person? Do I have digital resources? Am I literally just on my own until I show up for a wedding day?
Right.
So for us, we have 2 planning meetings with a venue manager and our director of, or one of our events and logistics team members. We have these set opportunities to interact with our team and the couple one-on-one, and then we also do booked couples mixology nights that are dedicated events just for our booked couples. If we are doing an open house, oftentimes we'll do something special for our booked couples, a VIP lounge or an additional gift. We have a digital booked couples portal that has all of their resources from FAQs to measurements of the facility to, upcoming events. Sometimes we'll do dedicated giveaways just to our booked couples. So we love we love as many touch points as possible, not necessarily to a direct person, but just making giving them a whole lot of inspiration and resources that we feel is consumable by them. Instead of like a big booklet, it's like they get this online portal and then they can follow our Instagram, and then they get to the opportunity to show up for open houses and mingle with the team. To see if, okay, who did I do my tour with? Like, is that a familiar, like, where the Sixpence has grown a lot, but we aim to keep this kind of like close to home familiarity feeling, I guess, with our clients who maybe they've gotten married at the Sixpence a year ago and they're still showing up at our events because there's a sense of familiarity with the staff that we've established. Everybody has a role that they are so invested in. And I mean, I think our team has a lot of everyone has a lot of pride in what they're representing as far as their role, but also what we're aiming to offer as a larger brand. So I think that sensation can be a really positive one for couples. So just the question being, or the thing to talk about, depending on what you expect of your venue, I guess, on wedding day, is when you're doing your tour, is to ask, like, what are my touch points going to be? What do and so earlier I was talking a little bit about, like, what do I get? But like, okay, and how much guidance do I get with it? Who can I talk to in case I'm confused? We certainly don't establish our Instagram as a great way for you to DM a random question about, getting married at the Sixpence if you're already, but we are active on that platform so that if somebody drops a random question, like, we have the ability to make them feel supported and either directed to the right person or answered right then and there. It's very important to us to be where our clients are, and we cannot expect them to just be on our website all day long. So we're in the spaces that they're functioning and spending time to engage with them and repeat ourselves sometimes, because you have to do that. So you
can't expect people to see things once.
Yeah, absolutely not. So I'd say that those, how many touch points am I going to get? And like, what's the experience going to be like for me planning to host here? So not just like, what do I get in my inbox and in my hand as I'm walking out of this tour, but also like after a wedding day, like what can I expect? And I mean, again, with that, I'd say like read reviews of past brides, sure, or past couples, sure, grain of salt. There are gonna be, sometimes people are a little bit, reviews can showcase like really polarizing views. So that's something to keep in mind. But ultimately, I think that's what the couple should worry about instead of all the logistics. They should worry about, how is this going to feel for me?
Right.
You know, you're not going to end after your wedding day and be like, okay, I'm ready to like be hired into the wedding industry necessarily.
Right.
So your goal isn't to learn as much as you possibly
Right.
can. It's to, the important thing for you should be how's this going to feel at the, like through the process. And
You want it to be an
end.
enjoyable experience all the way through the
Absolutely.
process.
Yeah. And we definitely pride ourselves in those opportunities to come out and make the education and the, like, I don't know, the many things that they are kind of just, you do have to learn through the
Right.
process, as seamless and enjoyable as possible. Hosting open houses where we have exclusive vendors in each category. So it's not overwhelming to clients that are visiting, opportunities for them to come out and talk just about bar and bar packages. So like both digital and in-person opportunities to prep for what is a really big day for them, so they should feel completely supported throughout it. Or I think that there's there can be a major benefit to the experience between couple and venue for them to feel like they were supported throughout, not just I signed a contract and I didn't hear from them again until they opened the door at 8 a.m. on my wedding day or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Brooks, thank you so much for coming down and hanging out. And
Thanks.
you
Thanks
made the
for
trip
letting me
all the way
yap.
from Florida here for us.
Absolutely.
Just for us. So, well, thank you so much for doing this and sharing the wisdom and for letting us be a little part of the journey of the Sixpence in Westwood and what you guys are doing. Share a little bit about some of the things that you guys have coming up. I know there's some things on the calendar for Westwood and maybe for people that are interested in seeing that space and how it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to have such a long now relationship with Sixth Day, and just having the opportunity to work with people who really do have that same vision of great service that we do. There is certainly like such a gift of kinship there. Upcoming things at Westwood. So we will be hosting our very first Westwood party on August 2nd. It will be a public party, an opportunity to come out to the site. Of course, we are not done yet, but we're going to put up a big, beautiful sailcloth tent, glam it out with the help of a bunch of awesome professionals, and give our booked couples, guests, friends a chance to just get dressed up, come out, have some drinks, hear some music, see the construction so far, and just get a little taste of that level of hospitality that we're excited to soon be offering there. So August 2nd, mark your calendars. Follow the Sixpence on Instagram if you don't already, _Sixpence, and Westwood on Instagram, as well as Westwood Venue. We are on all the other things like LinkedIn and TikTok and YouTube and Facebook as
How
well.
much traction do you get on LinkedIn?
Hey, you know what? There are people on LinkedIn. There are people out there.
They're doing some wedding research on LinkedIn. I just can't imagine.
Oh, but mostly that's for our professional friends.
Oh, yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah, true. Makes sense.
Yeah. We got to keep on all front. We're firing on all cylinders when it comes to our socials. No, we have
incredible.
a wonderful creative team that keeps us active on all the fronts. And then, once we get people in the building, we have an amazing events and logistics team and beyond to keep things flowing well, from weddings to our many like fun social creative events. My door of communication is always open to connect with fun professionals who want to work together in a creative capacity. And then both of our venues' doors, of course, are always open to chat specifics about hosting with us. I said our Instagrams, but I will mention both of our websites. The Sixpence is thesixpence.com. Westwood Venue is westwoodvenue.com. If you're interested in taking a private tour of either one, that would be the right route to go to get something on the books.
Yeah. And so spring of 26, right?
That's right.
It's going to be exciting.
April 2026.
That's cool. That's cool.
A time.
Well, thank you. It's great to sit down with you on a non-stressful day. I think the last time we were together was Unveiled, and I can guarantee that was not unstressful by any definition for anyone. So thanks for hanging out with us a little bit and sharing so much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.